These are the 5 nootropics that every person with ADHD should take. The very first nootropic, that set of nootropics that I think that are really great, especially if you are someone that is an adult with ADHD, you're hitting age 40 and above. I see this as so beneficial with my patients and clients that have ADHD. And it's because I find anytime I do a micronutrient test and doing a full micronutrient test, I find that with people who are 40 or above, that they tend to be deficient in things like choline as well as serine levels. And both of those are absolutely necessary when it comes to helping with memory. When we see those start to decline, that does impact someone's memory and also cognitive output, which is something that is a big issue with people with ADHD. So the nootropic that I'm referring to is both phosphatidylserine and also phosphatidylcholine. Both of those I have found to be so beneficial, especially when we do see that it is deficient. And it's something I'm seeing that's happening more often with people with ADHD, especially adults that are 40 and above. The second nootropic that I find that is so beneficial for every person to take with ADHD is it has to do with increasing blood flow to the brain. The brain requires a lot of oxygen, nutrients, and just blood flow constantly circulating through the brain. If there's lack of circulation going on there, you're going to have issues with cognitive output, focus, motivation, and drive. You're also going to start to have brain fog issues. And so some of the 2 greatest herbs that you could possibly use for this is both ginkgo biloba and also Bacopa monnieri. And those 2 herbs not only have helped me and benefit my ADHD, especially throughout college, to help me with my cognitive output and just memory recall for my own ADHD, but it's drastically helped a lot of my ADHD patients that suffer in this capacity. And the third nootropic, this has to do a lot with looking at specifically the dopamine output. So a lot of people with ADHD know that they tend to suffer with lack of dopamine. And it isn't as concrete and simple of just like, okay, let's just take this medication and then all your problems are solved. There is so many different steps to the process of dopamine to help build dopamine levels. And one of them being an excitatory neurotransmitter called phenylethylalanine. Now, phenylethylalanine is an excitatory neurotransmitter that is the very beginning of the dopamine process of helping building dopamine. And it's something that I see when I run these labs and tests with my patients and clients to see that this tends to be about deficient in 80% of the patients that I work with that have ADHD. And so one of the most beneficial types of nootropics that you could use to help improve these levels is DL-phenylalanine. Because DL-phenylalanine is a nootropic that is an amino acid that helps improve phenylethylalanine levels, but also more importantly, can help improve tyrosine, which can be deficient with people with ADHD, but also more importantly, help improve dopamine levels that can help with motivation, drive, focus, and memory. So if you're suffering with your ADHD and trying to find ways of more natural ways to implement, then you should download my free ADHD health guide in the description below that goes over all the different supplements and lab testing and nutrients that you should be implementing. So download that in the description below. Now, the fourth nootropic, now this one is very fascinating because of what it does for a couple reasons. One, it can be very beneficial to even take along with your ADHD medication that helps improve the effectiveness of your ADHD stimulant medication, but it really does actually help with regulate the amount of glutamate as well as dopamine in the brain. And the nootropic I'm referring to is N-acetyl-L-cysteine, also known as NAC. And I love this one because of really how it can benefit a lot of my patients that are still on medications and help enhance and improve the medications that they're on, so they might over time not have to be so dependent on them. But also, like I was saying before, it is a great regulator for both dopamine and glutamate, which is very necessary for improving with ADHD. And the fifth nootropic, I really like this one because I have probably used this with probably about 90% of my patients with ADHD. And this one specifically not only does help benefit the dopamine neurotransmitter pathway, but also helps with the serotonin pathway and also the GABA neurotransmitter pathway. And why that is so important with ADHD, because what I found is that all 3 of those different neurotransmitter pathways tend to impact with a lot of people with ADHD. And the one I'm referring to is L-theanine. L-theanine has been known to cross the blood-brain barrier to help all 3 of those major neurotransmitter pathways that can help with mood, help with regulation of depression as well as anxiety, but more importantly is also help with motivation and drive and focus because it's specifically targeting all 3 of those different neurotransmitter pathways. But as great as nootropics can be, but I'll tell you that is just an initial stepping stone to help with eliminating a lot of the ADHD symptoms. But if you truly want to understand how to eliminate your ADHD symptoms more in a natural way, then you should watch this video right here, where I dive in deep, explain my 3-step system to help eliminate your ADHD symptoms the natural way. So watch this video next.